Apologies about that, folks. I had technical difficulties that interfered with my sleep. Anyway, welcome back to the golden age of Lego. This is part 3 of this series, and this is not how I wanted to start the stream. So, welcome to the year 1988. Hopefully, we're able to get this show back on the road, and for what I had planned, hopefully, we'll be able to execute it. Still, but we'll just have to see what happens. So, 1988 is a special year for the Lego that I collect, and it's because of one particular set. So before, let's just scroll down to see that set, shall we? It's a town set, and it's a set that has cars in it, and it kind of relates to the set that I've been building on my streams recently. And God, I love these old boxes. It's this set right here, the Victory Lap Raceway. This is by far my favorite set of 1988. But I'll get to that when we get to that. So we're going to take a scroll through the sets that came out in 1988, and before we do that, let's see who's in chat, because I was tardy to the party with this one. So we got Dina, Dusty Bricks, Alexandria. Sorry, well, that just crashed out on me. What was up there? RC, hopefully you'll come back to us. Hoarder 66, Clicking Cliff, a Billing, Liam. Who else is there? Don't want to miss out on anyone. Was there anyone else? Yes, that was everyone. Okay. Yeah. So we just wanted to get that out of the way at the start with. And what the hell is going on? Why can't I find the comment to stop this? Okay. Yeah. So and actually we got some Canadians in here right now. So y'all might like this set. This is set 611 Air Canada jet plane, and they used to do these aeroplanes quite a lot. Less so in the late 80s than in the 70s. So this is a 4-stud wide plane. The minifigure was 10 years old in 1988, but yet this plane isn't built for minifigures. So you can see those 1x4 bricks. I can't remember if they're printed little black dots for the windows or if they're molded plastic, but those windows are so tiny that they are not for minifigure scale. They're for micro scale, which is weird because they were making planes this same size that you could fit a minifigure in there. And I guess their logo is a clip art version of a maple leaf. I know one person in particular that's trying to piece this set together. And this is another set that always piqued my interest. I think this is the first bank that we ever got. I can't remember any of the sets from the 70s that were built for the stage extra minifigures, or any sets from the 60s that were built for the HO scale figures that were compatible with model trains. I can't remember any sets from that era that was a bank. So this was pretty cool for 1988 to get the first bank. and they have done a few different banks after this. And let's scroll down. We get these typical Duplo and basic sets, but around this time they were really starting to push for the value packs. There's a space value pack right there, so it's interesting with this. Um, Try get a little bit of zoom in so you can see this set at the top. You can just barely make out that number is 6806. That's a classic space set because the minifigure is monochromatic, but you might just barely be able to pick out the white shoulder on that what looks like an all yellow minifigure. Well, that would indicate that this is for the Futuron theme. So you had the transition between the monochromatic classic spaceman and the little bit of variance in the Futuron astronauts. So this value pack is a little bit more indicative of the changing times because it's a bridge from what was old and what was new. Because even though Futuron replaced the classic space astronauts in 1988, because 1987, I believe, was the last year to include a set that came out with a classic space astronaut. Those sets would have been on shelves for a few years, which is why this battle pack exists. However, I can't remember, and we might have to scroll down later to get the answer if set 6848 was a new set for the year 1988. Also, we have General Tron and Redcoat Kyle. Good to see you guys here. And we also have the San One. It's good to see you guys here as well. Once again, I apologize for being tardy to the party for the first half hour. Anyway, so that's a little bit more of an interesting value pack than what you might otherwise realize. And something else I want to note about this is this was back in the time where they still had this style of advertising. So you might think this is an unsuspecting Lego Duplo set, but it's actually not. So one, you have the original Duplo logo right there, where the bunny had the ears that were straight parallel to the top of the box instead of having that little bit of curvature and being more at a 45-degree angle than what the Duplo bunny's ear is now. And also there's a lot more straight edges in this old Duplo logo, so that's an interesting bit of analysis, the way that Lego has gotten more curving as the years goes on, but also because the kid on the box is a girl. And this was before the Paradisa theme came out. This was before the Belleville theme came out. Scala was out during this time, but even though Scala was more targeted at girls, this was still in an era in the brick building system side of Lego, because back in the 80s, Scala was more focused on the dueling that Dots kind of ended up becoming in the 2020s and what the Clickets theme was trying to be in the 2000s. So to see a girl on the box art who's just playing with a set normally, and it's not trying to supposed to be a set targeted at girls, if you know what I mean. It's a gender neutral packaging that has a girl on the box. And for whatever reason in the 90s, they got away from that because of trends in the toy industry at the time. Because once upon a time in Lego's advertising, they emphasized that, yeah, anyone can play with any of our sets. It doesn't matter how old or young you are. It doesn't matter what it doesn't matter what organs are in your undercarriage. It doesn't matter. Lego is for anyone, which is what some people have a problem about with the philosophy of the concept of the mini doll and adults welcome, but I'm not going to get into that right now. So yeah, I just wanted to go on that spiel. And this was also kind of a bridge moment for the castle theme, with this set in particular, because in 1988 the Black Knights came out, and the Black Knights were sold from 1988 to 1994. But it's weird because if we kind of scroll in here just a tiny bit, you can see that these Crusaders, not Lion Knights, these are Crusaders, and anyone who wants to argue with me about that, you can meet me in the back alley after this stream. So they've got their traditional lion emblems because they are Crusader Knights. But this was a new shield for this year. It's the dragon, and you might be thinking to yourself, hey, the design of that dragon looks awfully similar to something else. Well, that's because the insignia for the Dragon Knights that came out, for the Dragon Masters, which came out in 1993 and was sold until I believe the year 1995, was basically their dragon insignia was a red, yellow, and green recolor of this older red, yellow, and blue dragon. And I've heard from some places it's actually not a dragon, it's a wyvern, because of how it has the 2 legs and the 2 arms instead of the 4 legs. I don't know. Someone who knows a little bit more about the fantasy side of medieval stuff can let me know about that, if I to correct me if I'm wrong. But this was also a turning point for the castle theme. So already you're starting to see that 1988 is a turning theme. What is a turning point for a few things. And so this is just one of the many joust sets. Obviously a lot of people like the more recent one, which was for the Kingdoms theme in 2012, and in the one of the alternate builds for the current Horse Knights Castle is a joust. Knights Kingdom 1 had a joust, and the first year of the Lego Castle in 1978 also had another joust set called Knights Tournament. But as grandiose as the Kingdom's joust is, and also I think there was a Bricklink Designer Program set that had a joust in it. But out of all the joust sets they've ever done, this is my favorite for a few reasons. One, because it has the classic, it has some classic all-time factions right there, the Crusaders and the Black Falcons. But it's weird because the Black Falcons in this set don't have the Black Falcon. No, so not the Black Falcons. The Black Knights in this set don't have the insignia, and they don't have the torso designs that the Black Knights ended up with. So because they have more of this breastplate detail than their regular. And to be honest, I can't remember what the Black Knights have on their torsos, but it's not this. So I think it's more in line with this. I think it's more in line with that chainmail they have right there. So It's a little bit confusing, but it works enough for me. And so what they're doing is, you know how the concept of a trophy wife exists? Well, that's what this girl with the red conical hat and the red a goblet is supposed to be. I guess she's supposed to be the trophy wife of this set. So that's a little bit of an interesting um concept with the minifigures if you think about it. I mean, I don't think Lego, if they were to do, if they were to bring back the castle theme, I don't think they would include a female minifigure to act as a trophy wife ever again, would you? And also, all of you people out there who like to have a good refreshment, that's a beer keg right there. That's a beer keg, and I think that's awesome. Yeah, so there's lots of reasons to like that. Also, this was the year when they really started to hone in on this Formula 3 style for the town races. Scroll down. Oh, there's a toy soldier. Can't remember if 1988 was the year that the Pixar short film Toy Soldier came out. Forget if that's 88 or 89. But if that came out in 88, then with this set, 1929, coincidence? I think not. And let's scroll down. And this was a good year for the Duplo theme, it looks like, including this. So when I see this color scheme, I think of some of the other sets that Lego made in the 80s before this. And if anyone remembers set 7740 from 1918, which was that red and yellow 12-volt train, I like to interpret this red and yellow plane as a postal plane for Deutsche Bahn. That's just me. And also, isn't that a wild set? It's a circus train, without it being on rails, so they call it a caravan. Look, you get an elephant riding in a trailer hauled by a tractor. I think that's really cool. I think that's really cool. See, this looks like a really good year for the Duplo theme. I'm not as big into analyzing the Duplo sets over the years, but whenever I see Duplo trains, that makes me feel good inside. This was the second to last year of the Fabuland theme. I normally don't have a lot to say about Fabuland, but after we scroll through all of this, I'm sure other people will want me to go back and look at some particular Fabuland sets because there's always that group of Fabuland fans out there. However, I will say this set, 3683 Amusement Park, that's pretty cool for multiple reasons. One, it's got my favorite of the Fabuland minifigures, if we can get this right. Clive Crocodile, and there he's holding a 2x2 printed white tile with the number 5. I'm not sure what that 5 is supposed to be. So, and also it's got the rowboat down there. It's got the slide. It's got the stairs. It's got the merry-go-round thing. It's got the white park bench with the with the with the bench legs that can be a little bit brittle. It's got a lot of these kind of villa arch pieces with the floral sculpts to them right there, and these yellow ones over here. So there's a lot of noteworthy pieces with this actually. And also can't go past the awesome Ferris wheel at the top there. Yeah, so I really like the carnival side of the Fabuland, and 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 my boy Clive Crocodile gets his own set. He's riding a skateboard like Bart Simpson. Who knows? Maybe. Well, actually, I forget. Was The Simpsons airing on the Tracy Ullman show in 1988? Because the Simpsons series came out in 1989. But was it on the Tracy Ullman show in 88? Because if it wasn't, then this is a precursor to that. It's a precursor to that. And also, as I said in part 2 of the Golden Age streams, the Forestman faction is my favorite from Castle, and so their set this year is the Forestman's Hideout. And if you remember, this set was remade as a gift with purchase a couple years ago, and so compared to that gift with purchase a couple from a couple years ago, we didn't get those vine pieces that this forestman with the white plume up top is using to hang from the tree. I would have liked Lego to have included that, but I think they used other pieces to do something different. Also, you see the target for archery right there. And also, unlike all of the gold pieces we have now, those yellow 1x1 studs, if we can just get a little bit closer up, those yellow 1x1 studs are supposed to represent a golden, well, they're supposed to represent gold, probably gold coins, which kind of dates this set, because the gold coin that you would get 4 of on a sprue didn't come out until the Pirates theme the next year in 1989. So this is also a little bit well, actually it's not transitory. This is end of an era. However, in Castle sets after this, for whatever reason, they still used that until they were making more of the gold coins on a sprue in mass scale. They kept that round for some castle sets afterwards, which I don't know why, because it would have looked better with the gold coins. But yeah, that's a little bit unsuspecting for kind of the untrained eye. And also, when you see the back of this set, you can see that it's just as cramped as what the gift with purchase was. And even though I really like the gift with purchase, this is my least favorite of the Forestman sets. I'm just going to say that. And also, this was another rather significant castle, because this was this was the first castle that Lego made to feature a mainly black wall, because the yellow castle era was from 1978 to 1983. So all of that stuff was yellow. And the grey castle era started in 1984. So we got the King's Castle in 84, the Knight's Castle, I think, also in the same year. We got the Black Falcon's Fortress in 86 or 87. I forget from parts 1 and 2 when that came out. And those were grey castles, and all of the other complementary castle sets like the Battering Ram and the Siege Tower and the Blacksmith and the Armory and the Guarded Inn, to complement those sets, were also had the predominantly grey walls. But this has the black walls, and I think that's really cool. Hence why it's called the Black Monarch's Castle. And one of the reasons why it's called the Black Monarch's Castle. And I want to take a closer peek at the minifigures in this to confirm something. It's interesting that this was called the Black Monarch's Castle, but it didn't include the Black Monarch's ghost in it, because you can see that it's just got these knights in it. It's just got these knights. You got some of the horse riders, you got some archers, and you got some soldiers, but it didn't include the Black Monarch's ghost. And that's something I always found weird. So I have to think that they got the name Black Monarch from somewhere in medieval history, decided to make a black castle with those really cool castle wall elements that have the printed stonework on it. You can see the one with the roughed up stone on the left there, and also the stone that has that nice even pattern that goes around the circumference of the window. And also you see the curved castle walls also with the roughed up stone. I bought a whole bunch of the ones with the roughed up stone from an independent toy store like 10 years ago, because I thought their inclusion in this set was so good. So good. To quote the song Sweet Caroline. Yeah. So I have to think that they named the ghost the Black Monarch's ghost in 1919, which we'll talk about later in this series, because of this Black Monarch's castle. Going to take a break and see if there's anyone else here. What people are saying. Hello, Red Coat Kyle. Good to see you here, buddy. Yeah, I want to scroll up, and actually, I just want to check something. Let's see if no. Okay. Yeah, so I want to scroll to see if anyone's saying anything interesting about what we've flown through. What are people saying? Anything about this set? No, so anything about these sets? Lots of people saying hello. Yeah, that is a good way to describe the older Duplo logo. I think some of us also get more curves as we go on. Yeah, that's a hot-bedded thing to say right now because of Bricklink Gate. Thank you, Dina. Yes, everyone should remember to smash the like button to tell YouTube that you like watching my streams. Also, hello, Alexandria. It says, think Lego offers something for everyone. Yes, and more so in this era, because this was before licensed themes came out. Yeah, this is when people get into their Bricklink soliloquies. Tron says, not so much for Greenland, though. At least not secondhand. Them and 35 other countries. Exactly. And then Mark said, like our friends in India don't have Lego, many friends across the world in different countries don't have Lego. Exactly. Yeah. A Bricklink Gate has caused the community to get into an uproar. And after watching people talk about that again today, I think I developed a new opinion about Bricklink Gate that I want to talk about at the end of the stream. You have that Joust set? That's really cool, Tron. I wish I did. I wish I had that. Yes, that's one of the builds from a castle set that deserves to be unmodified for the rest of its life. You're not wrong about that. I don't know why Well, how many rebrickable designs out there are there for a brewery or a pub? Because the closest Lego came to something like that would have been the Parisian restaurant, but that's more so for wine, not beer. Yeah, I have to think that Lego, well, in some of Lego's print media, for the pirates, they refer to it um as ale, but we know what they were actually drinking. We know what they were actually drinking. Yes, Dina loves clowns, and they made some interesting Duplo clowns back then. Um, yeah, I don't ever wanna tangle with those crocodiles in Queensland. I like the Forestman's Crossing better as well. So you had the OG hideout. You always wanted the crossing. So Liam, are you talking about the camouflage outpost from '87? Yes, this was before the gold coin era. Um, yeah, they did. I think I can't remember if the 2015-2016 Pirates had the gold coins, but I'm one of those rare people who actually prefers the printed tiles rather than the gold coins, because a minifigure can actually hold the printed tiles that are supposed to represent coins. The older gold coins you would get on the sprue, you can put that in the treasure chest, but the minifigures can't hold them. So that's just me personally. Um, yeah, the Black Knights had the Black Monarch's castle in 1988, and then the Black Knights castle in 1992. Have I done a castle special? No, and that's a good idea because after we finish covering all of the years, I want to go back through the whole of what I considered the golden age and pick out specific sets, and I want to focus on how the castle sets changed, because the way that the Lego castle theme looked in 1986 was significantly different from how the castle theme looked in 1994. I haven't done one yet, but I do want to do something like that in 2026. Dusting. Tron says clearly Lego no longer wants to push alcohol on minors, but it didn't push me in any direction necessarily. Yeah, that was a murky time, and Lego tried to shield alcohol as ale, but all the adults collecting Lego at the time, they knew what they were doing. Hoarder says, remember having a horse-drawn cart cage that held a green dragon? That thing was great. Yeah, so that would have been that would have been for the Dragon Masters in the early and mid mid 90s, which we'll get into for future episodes of this. Yes, exactly, Tron, the Dragon Masters. That's where Magisto the Wizard came out. And so there's a castle minifigure pack. A lot of people wish they still made minifigure packs like this to get two Forestmen, to get two Black Falcons, a Crusader, and a merchant trader, or a farmer, or a peasant. That would have been pretty damn cool. And for less than $7 at the time, let me do the inflation calculator. So US inflation calculator. US inflation calculator. Let's calculate that. So if we load this up, so if in 1988 I purchased an item for $6.75, in 2025 that would be $18.53. So I'm going to pose a question to all of the castle fans out there. Would you pay? Okay, uh, okay. How do I want to structure this question? Okay, so um, so if so, let's just assume that the value of these castle figures had not no, here's a better way to answer the question. Let's pretend that the year is 19 actually no. Here's a better way to ask this. Let's pretend that these minifigures were in sets today, which meant that them re-releasing this set in particular tanked the value of what these figures are selling from third-party sellers. So let's assume these are all um the generic prices that Lego pitches the value of a minifigure in, let's say, a city set or a creator set to be. Let's just imagine that's the mentality. Not even thinking about how a collectible minifigure is now what has a retail price of $5. Would you and also let's assume that every castle set that was available in the year 1988 was re-released, and it tanked the value of these minifigures to be the same value they were in the year 1988, because I'm pretty sure the Forestman, based on the old $3 average for minifigures, are triple in price. The original Black Falcons are about 5 to 10 times the price. The original Crusaders are about 4 to 6 times the price. So let's just assume these are all that $3 expected value. How cool would it be to pay, let's say, $20 for these 6 figures? I'm sure plenty of Castle fans would jump on that, adjusted for inflation, which is why I stuff like this. Hey, where have we seen that guy before? That looks like the cousin of my Sigfig. And again, this was only $6, not $6.75, I guess, because it had less cool accessories than the castle minifigures. But this came with a police motorbike, so that's pretty cool. Also, I missed these old road signs. Not as much as the road signs that came out in 1998, because they're a little bit more to scale of what we have now. But you don't see accessory packs like these anymore. Look at them trees. And also, they were making separately sold houses on base plates back then. I believe that used the same that's the same base plate mold as the emergency treatment center that we covered last in the previous episode. Also, this is another pretty good one, the Metro Park and Service Tower. You can see it has the Shell branding. Look at the Shell branding, and it's on two of these it's on two of these garage bay base plates, but instead they don't have it hooked up like a garage, and the printing is where you wouldn't is where you want the garage bays to be spread apart instead of next to each other, because there was two different designs of this garage bay base plate, but instead they had it so that it acted as refueling lanes at this service station, an entrance to a parking elevator, and um, the entrance to a car wash. And they kind of made an Octane version of this in the year 2012, if you remember correctly. I actually have that set, and that set is very much inspired by this. So I have a soft spot for the Metro Park and Service Tower. And also, you can go back to the history of my YouTube channel, and I have glazed this set ad hominem. This is by far my favorite set from 1988, and I'm a proud owner of this. Is it? If you're a fan of motorsport, auto racing, how could you not like this set? It is amazing. It has everything you want for the start, stop, grid lane racing paddock of a raceway. It has everything you want. Everything. This was, and I have no idea why, but still, by this time, no. So actually, no. What I want to say is this fire chief car may look pretty primitive, but compared to the 1986 fire chief car we looked at in part one, wow, um, big upgrades by comparison, big upgrades. Also, I always like this set 6524, the Blizzard Blazer, because I don't think there was a set before this that focused on clearing snow. So all of the viewers out there who have to drive in the snow, you might appreciate this set. So it looks like they're using the cement mixer, concrete mixer blade from that one set that came out in the late 80s. They repurposed it to be a snow plow in this set. So that's interesting. That's interesting. And scrolling. Also, I think this was one of the first sets to have these big off-road tires in it, because those are Technic wheels. So I forget if there were some model team sets that included these wheels, but this is one of the first times I can remember that being in a town set, those wheels. And again with the minifigure packs for space, and this focuses on the Futuron versus the Blacktron, because Space Police 1 came out the next year. Also, they were still going strong with the lights and sound system with the old 9-volt battery box back there. A bunch of really cool stuff. This kind of reminds me of the Supernova craft, whatever, from Blacktron 2, with that really skinny cockpit window that looks really, really cool. And also, I guess this was, I thought the Alienator was a 1997 set, but it's a 1988 set. So you can see the walkers at the bottom are very much inspired by this whole thing is very much inspired by Star Wars 8018. Because think, Return of the Jedi came out 5 years before this set came out. And also, look at that, a monorail accessory track. So they hadn't invented the switch tracks for the monorails yet, I don't think. I believe they invented the monorail switch tracks 2 years later for the airport shuttle. So in this accessory pack, you just get the curves, the straights, and the stanchions. Oh yeah, I forgot. This was the big dadding of the original Blacktron, and it came out in '88. This is the message intercept base. What an amazing set! Comes on two. No, sorry. Yeah, it comes on two base plates. One of them is the legendary crater plate. The other is a generic 32 by 32 light grey base plate. This is not the year 2004, so it's light grey, not light bluish grey. You can see you get the quarter round dome piece in the trans yellow. How cool was that? And you get some of these other um smaller dome pieces in the trans yellow as well. A lot of places elevated to put your minifigures on. This is a play feature where you could twist one of the things behind here, and these eyes will these dishes that look like eyes would fold down so that you could launch something from out the top of here. You can see those yellow hoses all over the place. Just such an iconic set. I believe this is the best of any of the Blacktron sets ever. That message intercept base, and also this was the time when they were starting out with the Technic minifigures. I want to know people's thoughts about the Technic minifigures in particular. There's a bunch of Technic sets. Adacta Circus. I forgot about some of these circus sets, but yeah, that's another set with the Duplo elephant. And aren't those some creepy clown faces right there? Dina, if you're still there, do you have these clown pieces? Another instance of the tractor. And I think that's really funny how they have a trailer with the circus cannon where the clown is being shot out of the cannon. I really like that piece. And you get the ringmaster, a Duplo figure taming that elephant down there. That's a cool Dacta set. And also they did a bunch of these mosaics back then for for Duplo in the Dacta theme. Also kind of a precursor to dots that we get eventually later. And I think this was the year when they started the Brick Kicks magazine, 1988. I'm gonna guess, although they don't have issue number 1 on here. Maybe this is supposed to be issue 1. But yeah. So those were all of the sets and these 4 Brick Kicks magazines from 1988. So my favorite set, as I've stated, is the Victory Lap Raceway. It's a thing of beauty as a racing fan. And probably my second favorite is the Message Intercept base from the Blacktron theme. And third has to be the Black Monarch's Castle. Has to be the Black Monarch's Castle. And if I was to give a Mount Rushmore rankings, I would give the 4th spot to be the Metro Park and Service Tower. So what is everyone's favorite set from 1998, and what are some of your preferred sets? What are some of your rankings from this year? Okay. Tron says, got that Victory Lap Raceway with a bucket of stuff from an and say, "Oh, nice." Dina says the clowns are so cute. No, I don't have them, but you need them. Tron's got a few Technic sets. Yeah, yeah. You mentioned the Unitron monorail. Um, that was the only monorail set with the motor to come with the switch track. They came out with the switch track as an accessory track pack to the airport shuttle, but they didn't include the switch tracks in the airport shuttle monorail set, and that's why the Unitron monorail is my favorite of the three monorails, and the Future One monorail came out the year beforehand. Yeah, inflation is a bitch. Exactly, that's because of inflation. So, excuse me. Horder says, because if so, are they doing the same with Castle due to Lord of the Rings? It is true they only did space sets as ideas icons because Star Wars license doesn't allow them to make any space stuff outside the solar system. Oh yeah, Lord of the Rings maybe has the same impact with Castle. Um, yeah, that I'm not sure if that's in the agreement, but that's a good fan theory. So Tron says, um, the Green Dragons are your second favorite behind the Forestmen. Oh, so you also agree with me that the Forestmen is the best faction. Nice. Horder says, just sorted that pad box out. Medium nougat masonry drawers for again. Which of the planes was it? The red and yellow one? Was it the red and white one that was medically related? Alexandria. I'm the same. Yeah. Once a forestman, always a forestman. And I don't even have a particular interest in the Robin Hood franchise. Um, yeah. So which one, the red and yellow or the red and white plane? Um, I don't care about about Robin Hood as a character. I just think that the trees that the forest minifigures live in, that's such cool architecture, and it's interesting that Lego didn't refer to the Forestman as Robin Hood minifigures officially, yet in some of the UK print media that focused on the Forestman, they refer to them as Robin Hood. So it wasn't in the sets, but it was in the print media. They referred to them as Robin Hood. I guess there was a legal thing where they could do that for creative expression, but not but not for merchandise. I'm not sure who the rights holders of the Robin Hood movies are. So I don't know what their licensing agreements are. But there's some interesting fan theories that come because of that. Tron says Kevin Costner's Robin Hood had more of an impact on you than it probably should have had, but the story itself always loved. Yeah, I I've grown to like um the song from Men in Tights just because someone on a sports show made a parody about that with someone. And especially like the end of the song where they go da 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 da. I like the end of that song. Hello 24, good to see you here, buddy. I did, Cliff. Apologies about all of that. Yeah. So we we covered, yeah, we covered all of the sets from 1988, but unfortunately I accidentally chased away RC, which sucks. That's totally my fault. I accept all of the blame because of that. Yeah, but we're gonna do one last quick scroll to go over to go over well no sorry, just so people can see these sets in sequential order, and if anyone comments anything about any of these sets as we scroll through, can go back and briefly talk about it again. So gonna have to try again with RC in 2 weeks. I feel bad about that now. I do. And it's totally my fault. I'll accept all of the blame for that. But yeah, there was some interesting tidbits from the year 1988. Stuff that ended eras and stuff that started eras. So 1988 ended up being one of the more transitory years. And it was actually, upon further analysis, ended up being more transitional than I thought it was going to be coming in. Now 1989, which we'll be covering in part 4 of this series, has way more impactful transitions, because that's when the Pirates theme came out, and that's when Lego finally evolved past just the standard grin on a minifigure's face, which 1989 is probably going to be the most fun year because of those two factors in this whole series. I mean, 1991 will be a good year to cover because that's when the 9-volt trains came out. But I think out of all the streams this series, 1989 is going to be my favorite year to cover analytically. Even though I'll probably be geeking out harder for 1992 because that's when the Octane sets came out. And as everyone knows, I'm a sucker for the year 1992. It's my favorite year of Lego. Yes, that was a last quick little scroll of everything. Exactly, Lego was fun back there. And also, hello Johnny G, good to see you here. Exactly. Yeah, Tron. I guess this was Tron's era. Yep. And 1998. That Octane didn't exist yet. Horta says any set that had the flip to view window box type was automatically a heater. Yeah, they don't make those. They don't make those boxes anymore because of theft reasons. So do I, Johnny. RC is from blocks to mops. That's why I don't have it enabled on my account. And I don't pay attention to the chat rankings that people talk about. I just tune it out. And that's 100% correct, Adina. I wanted to go back. Yes, thanks for reminding me. So, what some of us are doing is we're trying to organize a New Year's YouTube raid train. So, if anyone's interested in that, you might want to contact to Never Too Old for Lego or myself about that. And if you want to join that raid train, we can give you more information about what it's going to be. Johnny says Lego was for play back then. Now it's about big display builds. Well, that's because lugs and conventions have gotten so much better since the 80s. Dusty says the real fun was the imagination that we had along the way. Exactly, and Lego was more imaginative back then because they included stuff like instructions for alternate builds, and they actually put alternate builds on the back of the boxes. So Lego had to work harder to sell their product, but nowadays Lego kind of sells itself, if you know what I mean. There is no wrong chat here. Horder says Bricklink designer program sets should bring the flip front back. You have to pay for those before you get them. No theft. That's a good argument. Any set that's a mail order doesn't have to worry about theft proof packaging, and the Bricklink designer program sets are a mail order set. So we got 16 people signed up. Nice. All day New Year's Eve, all day stream celebration, the brick community. Exactly. And I'm glad I'm a part of that community. Well, direct to consumer, that branch of set classification also includes sets that's exclusive to the Lego store. Now, once upon a time, after after the 80s, there were sets that were exclusive to the Lego Club. And when Lego invented Shop at Home, that was independent of the mail order forms they used to put in the catalogs. When they came out with Shop at Home, which they really pumped harder when the internet became available to residential addresses in 1997. They made sets exclusive to Shop at Home. So all of that came under the branch of direct to consumer. Just gonna see something else very quickly. No. Oh well. Anyone have anything else to say about sets from 1988 in particular? Horder says, remember when we used to have the mail-in stuff from the magazine to get exclusive stuff? The world pre-internet was a wild place. It was, because you had to call that toll-free number in Connecticut, and you had to write to the ghostwriter that was Susan Williams. Johnny says, then if you like Castle, there's horse bardings for days. Exactly. Horse bardings were a lot more common back then because there were more sets that had the horses back then. Anything in particular? Oh, you just said you love 1988 sighing. So are you sighing over the year 1988? Or do you like people from the year 1988 who sigh? Or do you like people who lived in the year 1988 filming themselves sighing? Um, I'm not sure how to pass words there. Who's buying Centenary? Did something happen in 1788? I forget my world history. Horta says that was the only way for me to get the Ice Planet base. The store sold all of them up to the Deep Freeze Defender, but not the base. Yeah, not all of the stores sold the bigger sets. Like you compare, you compare. Actually, I'm thinking. Does Target sell the modulars? Because I don't think Walmart sells the modulars. Because in Australia, Kmart and Big W don't sell the modulars, but Maya and David Jones do. I forget if Toys R Us does. Toys R Us online, that is. Did the NES come out in '88? I don't know my video game history. All I know is that the Wii came out in 2007, and that's the only console we have. Actually, I want to go back to a better set to be what we're looking at. Not many people care about the Brick Kicks magazines. I'm going to go back to my favorite set, the Victory Lap Raceway. Scroll back up, and we're going to put that on full screen. I'm going to try get this as much in frame as possible. There we go. And is there anything at the bottom? Yeah, let's get to here. Yeah, going to make that the full screen thing. I always hear good things about the N64 as well. They were all before my time. We're going to cover Ice Planet in 5 episodes' time. So the SNES came out in 1990. So that's the same year as the airport shuttle. Anything else from the year, or anything else Lego related from 1998 that anyone wants to talk about? Because now y'all are getting sidetracked into video games. Because there were a lot of good video game consoles that came out from when I considered the golden age of Lego to be. Now I need to go to YouTube and see if something's hooked up, because I have a YouTube redirect out on this stream. The first time I'm using the YouTube YouTube redirect tool. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure how that's gonna work. Actually, I wanna search this really quickly because whoa! I just saw something really interesting. Hang on, I'm getting sidetracked. Ah, sorry. Huh. That's in. That's interesting. Well, I've something just totally distracted me, and now I'm gonna have to add that to my. I'm gonna have to add that to a list. And I'm really confused about something. Okay, so it's so Google says when your live stream ends, you'll see a confirmation saying your viewers will be redirected. Okay. Okay, so whenever we decide to end whenever we decide to end this, probably in the next 3 minutes, you should see you should see a thing in the chat that I forget if it does it automatic. I forget if it does it automatically, or if you have to click on it. Um, but you'll see a thing that'll ask you to redirect to the stream afterwards. So I contacted the brick adjuster, and I got him to change some of his settings on his YouTube so that we can do the YouTube redirect over to the Full of Brick stream. Yeah, so hopefully that's gonna work out. Anyway, any final thoughts about the year 1988? Any final thoughts? Exactly, Hoarder. Everyone should smash that like button. Um, we're not leaving yet. We still got 2 minutes on the clock. Yeah, unfortunately, they're not going to make Shell anymore because Greenpeace. Because Lego doesn't want to upset the Greenpeace NGO. I'm going to be installing for the next 1.5 minutes, just to see the catch-all of this. Yeah. So once again, I want to apologize for starting this stream half an hour late. If people were actually interested in the year 1988 and they clicked off this stream because we started half an hour late, if you actually care about what I had to say this stream, you'll go back and watch this on the replay. Also, I got text messages from someone throughout this stream. Oh my god, someone just text messaged me something almost an hour ago. That's amazing. That's amazing. My sister must be in Japan. Yeah, I, yeah, my sister text messaged me emoji the bus. So that's really fucking cool. Anyway, thanks for watching this stream. It is appreciated. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. I'll see you on my live stream tomorrow in 22 hours, and I'll see you in the next video. Please redirect over to the Brick Adjuster channel right now with the YouTube redirect tool. Thank you for watching.